with this part you must have understood why we are studying this unit. Now we'll start with your first chapter, that is electrostatics. Okay, now we'll start with first property, okay, that is charge. Okay, first property of matter particle, that is charge, and this charge will have its own properties. What are those properties? I will tell you. Okay, now coming to the first part, when can you actually say a body is charged means, normally if you take a nucleus, okay, whenever you are writing ZXA like this, okay, this is your nuclear representation, it is not atom. Okay, so this will indicate number of protons, this will indicate number of nucleons. Okay, now normally if you take an atom, okay, so inside the nucleus there will be some Z number of protons, and surrounding which there are electrons in different orbits, which you must have studied in chemistry like this. Okay, now when you subject some electric field or magnetic field, okay, when you start giving some kind of field, okay, let it be electric field or magnetic field, sometimes if you are giving heat energy and removing, it is called thermionic emission. You just simply give heat energy to this electron, it comes out of the orbit. Okay, so this outermost valence, these outermost electrons are actually called as valence electrons. So these valence electrons are loosely bound, okay, because there is something called as Coulomb's law, that is k q1 q2 by r square, but I'll talk about it later. But my point is, close to this nucleus, closer to this nucleus, there will be more force. The electrons which are in valence orbits, they are loosely bound. So when you subject some kind of field like this, what happens to these electrons is, these electrons, because they are loosely bound, they will start coming out of the valence orbits. Once they start coming out of these valence orbits like this, what happens is, okay, initially there are Z number of protons and Z number of electrons. Okay, now out of this neutral atom, okay, initially this positive charge and negative charge will be balanced. Okay, but out of this neutral atom, okay, out of this neutral atom, okay, what happens is, out of this neutral atom, if electrons are lost, okay, so electropositive elements will usually lose, they will have the tendency of losing electrons to gain stability. So such kind of bodies, they usually get positively charged bodies. Okay, when electrons are lost, body gets positively charged. And coming to this neutral atom, okay, electronegative elements, like for example chlorine, they have electron affinity more. So they chlorine, fluorine, such kind of elements, what they do is, they try to absorb electrons. So here electrons are gained. So in this case, okay, you will obviously get negative charge. Okay, so like this, my first property of charge is your types of charge, okay, that is, okay, positive and negative charge. Okay, like how you have two genders, male and female, okay, even in charges you will have positive and negative charge. Okay, so don't think there is some third type of charge, then I will include you into that third category. Okay, so there are only two types of charges, one is positive and other is negative. Okay, now when positive charge means when body loses electrons, when there is negative charge means when body gains electrons. Okay, and trust me, remember, I am telling you, there is no possibility of removing protons from the nucleus. You can never remove protons from the nucleus, you can only remove electrons. Okay, from the nucleus only electrons can be removed. Okay, right, so keep this point in mind. This is your first property of charge. We can never remove protons from the nucleus unless and until you bombard and produce some nuclear reactions. Okay, emission of protons will not happen so easily, okay, except in nuclear reactions. Okay, Next, your second property of charge. First property is type. Okay. Next, second type of property of charge that you have is, okay, your property of attraction or repulsion. Okay, property of, okay, attraction or repulsion. Okay, so in this I want you to understand, okay, like charges, okay, like charges, they will repel, okay, unlike charges, they will attract each other. Okay, like how a boy is attracted to a girl, unlike charges it will happen. Okay, so I hope everybody, those who are watching this clip, they are unlike charges. Okay, they don't belong to like charges. Okay, so however it is legal, still a boy and boy, it's not a good thing. Okay, right? So repulsion will happen between two positive charges, or repulsion will happen between two negative charges. And coming to unlike charges, a positive charge and negative charge will attract each other. Okay, now I will discuss something important. Okay, now if I give you an example and if I ask you, let us say there is some body B1, let us say not even body B1, let us say there is some body, that's all. Okay, now I have a charge. Okay, now there is another body here. Okay, this is charged. Now if I ask you, let us say this is A, this is B. Now I am asking you a question. Can you tell me whether body B is charged or not? What is your answer, and if so, how will you justify it? Think and then give the answer. Okay, you have two bodies, one is body A and other is body B. Okay, body A is charged, body B is actually, I am asking you, okay, if there is attraction, okay, you have observed attraction. Okay, observation is attraction. Okay, your question is like this: is B charged? That is your question. Okay, and how will you justify your answer? Think and then give the answer. Okay, now I will tell you. Okay, observe carefully. There are two possibilities here. Okay, when you are bringing positive charge like this, okay, initially it is, for example, a neutral body. Okay, it is neutral. Okay, now if this body is neutral, then what happens is, this is positive charge. Now here there will be some valence electrons in this body. So what happens is, valence electrons will start shifting to this side. Okay, because of induction. Okay, this will produce magnetic field, electric field. Okay, when this produces some electric field, what happens is, because of induction, I will write that very clearly, because of induction, okay, electrons will shift towards left. Okay, will shift towards left. So some electrons are shifting towards left like this. So these electrons, they will shift towards left, and because of this, okay, when these electrons from these areas, they will start coming this side, then this side there will be positive charge that is present. Now initially the body is neutral. Okay, and coming to this part, okay, within this part there is some minus q charge, within this part there is some plus q charge deposited like this. Initially the body is neutral, finally also there is the body is neutral, but this negative charge is close to positive charge. So whichever charge is close to that, it will dominate. So because of this charge, there is attraction, force of attraction. Because of this positive charge, on this positive charge there is force of repulsion. But which is close? This attractive force, this negative charge is close to it. So overall this neutral body will get attracted. So that means if this body is getting attracted, two possibilities are there. One is, which is obvious, if this body is negatively charged, there is attraction, because unlike charges they will attract each other. Okay. And coming to that other possibility is, this body can be neutral also. Okay. So if you have a charged body and if it is attracting some other body, that doesn't mean this body is charged, negatively charged. Okay. There is the possibility that this body could even be neutral. Okay. So there is possibility of body becoming neutral. Okay. So neutral bodies also will get attracted by charged bodies. Okay. So what is the sure test for charge means? To conclude whether this body is charged or not, what is the test means? Repulsion is the sure test. Okay. Repulsion is the sure test for charge. Okay. Same thing will be there even for magnetism. Okay. Repulsion is the sure test to check the magnetic polarity of bar magnets. Okay, not only bar magnet, any magnet. Okay, this is your second property. Okay, that is your property of attraction or repulsion. Okay, right. Right, next. I'll move ahead to third property. What is your third property that you have is for the charge? Okay. Third property is quantization of charge. Okay. Now what is this quantization of charge? I will tell you. Okay, but there is an exception to this. So later, initially people thought only there are two positive charges, I mean positive and negative charge. Okay, now first of all, if you look at the electrons, you can remove one electron, you cannot remove half electron or 1/3 electron, something like that. Okay. So from atoms or bodies, you can remove complete electron. There is no, you cut the electron and you cannot make it into two parts. So any electron, I mean the total charge that you have is Q is equal to integral multiple. This N is integer. Okay. So integer in the sense, okay, Q is N times E. This charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb is the charge of electron. So any charge that you have is integral multiple of charge of electron. This was your actual logic. Okay. Now exception to this, okay, is present when people have explained the existence of quarks. Okay. So what is, I mean in quarks, what exception, I mean will come from quarks. Okay. So what are your quarks means? Quarks are fractional charged particles. Okay. So for example, if you take an up quark charge is plus 2e/3 and down quark charge is, okay, minus e/3. Okay, up quark plus 2e/3 and down quark it is minus e/3. But if in the exam, if any competitive entrance exam, if they give you fractional charges, there is quark, so I will tick the answer, do not tick it. Okay, it is not there in JEE syllabus. You have to assume quantization of charge is valid. Exception is there for quarks. Okay, if you want more clarity, for example, if you take one proton, a proton is assumed to be formed from two up quarks and one down quark. So two up quarks will bring a charge of 2 times plus 2e/3. One down quark will bring a charge of minus e/3. So plus 4e/3 minus e/3, that will once again give you E. Okay. So proton's charge is plus E. Okay. This is exception. Okay. it is not in syllabus, only for understanding say I am telling you. Okay, so how much I explain, there are people who keep arguing that this is there, this fellow did not teach, or in this video that is not there, somebody is doing something. I am telling you what is required and what is that I believe I am teaching here, what is required. Okay, and if you know what is to be taught and you know everything, then there is no point in watching these videos. You can just directly go to exam hall and then write the exam. Okay, my intention is not at all to show off something that I know. Okay, so what I think is best, I am trying to give it to you, that's all. Okay, so I am not going to show off I know something, I don't know something, or anything like that. Okay, so what is required, I am doing it here. Okay, now for example, okay, from this my point is, okay, so based on this, if you are trying to do a problem, for example, if you ask me a question, does 1 coulomb charge exist, then how will you identify whether this 1 coulomb charge will exist or not means, okay, what will you do? You will apply your quantization rule. Q is equal to N into A. 1 coulomb is equal to, charge unit is coulomb, I am sorry, I forgot. So coulomb is the unit of charge, that is SI unit. Okay, and CGS unit is electrostatic unit. CGS it is ESU. Okay, one electrostatic unit is some 1.3 something like that, you will get it, you check it in your reference books. I don't want to waste my time in doing that part. Faraday is also unit. Okay, Faraday you can name anything. Okay, ESU you can give, Faraday you can give. 96,500 coulombs is Faraday. 1 mole of electrons will contain a charge of 1 Faraday. Okay, so that part in some silly books they will give. My point is to make you physics part to understand things better, not the units. So here 1 coulomb is N times what is your charge of electron means, it is, you don't need to keep minus sign. Okay, because it is positive charge, plus 1 coulomb, I am just simply writing plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. Okay, now N is 1 by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay, now many people, I just got fed up explaining these things. 1 by 1.6, because it is looking like a decimal, your answer is a decimal, so this charge will not exist. That is not at all correct. You have 10 power minus 19 term also. You can write it as, okay, 10 power, okay, 2 times 10 power minus 19 can be written as 10 power 2 into 10 power 17 by 1.6. So this is 100 by 1.6 into 10 power 17. It is exactly equal to, I don't even put approximate symbols. 100 by 1.6 is how much means, it is 62.5 into 10 power 17. Okay, if you don't believe me, check, divide 100 with 16. Okay, or else you can write this as, even if you are still uncomfortable, you can write it as 16 into 10 power minus 1. 100 by 16 is, 100 by 16 means you can write this as 4 4s, 4 25s, 4 1s, 4 6 are 24, 1 is there, 4 2s are 8, so 6.25. So this will become 6.25 into 10 power 18. Now this 0.25 can be written as 625 into 10 power 16. So which is obviously an integer. So because this is an integer, this 1 coulomb charge will exist. Okay, so here this n integer meaning is this, because you have 10 power something, this is not an integer, don't do it. Look at even the power of 10 as well. Okay, so that is your quantization of charge. Okay, next. Next we will continue further. Okay, so I am erasing this part. Okay, if you feel I am going fast, pause the video clip, revisit what you have not understood. Some people will understand things just listening once. Some people require listening 2 times. Some people will require 3 times. Some genius people will require 10 times. Still there is nothing wrong. The point of recording these lectures is pause the video clip and then play once again as many times as you need. Okay. So now next there will be some basic questions asked. Okay. So the question is like this. No, wait, I did not give the table of charges. So for those of you people who don't even know the charge of electrons, such kind of stuff, so for them I am giving this table. You have particle, you have charge, you have mass. Now your first particle is electron. Its charge is minus e, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, and mass is 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Okay. And next, coming to your proton, your charge is plus e and its value is 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. And coming to your neutron, for neutron the charge is 0 and mass is almost close to mass of proton. When you go to nuclear physics, you will look at this in a different manner. And coming to alpha particle is doubly ionized helium nucleus. So alpha particle will have charge of plus 2e and mass of 4 times mass of proton. Okay. So I want you to remember all these values while solving the questions. Okay. Now, and another important formula is, if you take number of moles, your number of moles is given by mass in grams by, okay, mass in grams by gram molecular weight. Now how this is all related to that, I will tell you. Okay. So you will have questions like this. Estimate charge in Avogadro number of electrons. A question is like this. Estimate charge in Avogadro number of electrons or protons, whatever you take, that is up to you. Okay. So what is your answer is, okay, do it. So your total charge is Avogadro number into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Avogadro number is 6.023 into 10 power 23 times 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So look whether you are getting 96,500 or not. Okay, you check it. I guess I remember. I don't remember basic information like that. I only remember the logic. You check it. I think it is 96,500. Okay, you simplify it and then do it. Okay, next. Now we will give a simple question, that is, estimate total positive charge. Okay, if charge is asked, estimate total positive charge in 36 grams of H2O. This is your question. Okay, so if charge is asked, answer is directly 0. There is nothing to do because every water molecule H2O is neutral. Oxygen consists of 8 electrons and 8 protons. Each hydrogen will have 1 electron and 1 proton. So answer is directly 0. Okay, that is not the case here. You are supposed to calculate in 36 grams of water how much is the total positive charge. Pause the video clip if required and then try it and then resume it. Don't just simply watch the video. This fellow is anyhow writing the answers. So what is the strain that I require to take when he is doing everything? If you think in that manner, then it is gone. So your total charge, first I will calculate number of moles, because you need to know how many molecules are there. Okay, so your number of moles is, okay, 36 grams, mass in grams by gram molecular weight for H2O is oxygen, it is 16, hydrogen is 2 times 1, so 16 plus 2, 18 grams, 18 ones, 18 twos, so that is 2 moles. Okay, now many people, they just think Avogadro number is number indicating atoms. Okay, Avogadro number is just a number to indicate something big. It can be atoms, it can be molecules, anything. Here water is, H2O is a molecule. Okay, so now here if you consider this, your number of molecules is, okay, 2 times of 2 moles are there times Avogadro number. Your Avogadro number, how much it is, means it is 6.023 into 10 power 23. Okay, so 2 times Avogadro number is your number of molecules. Okay, next, your number of atoms, if you take, okay, do this into, in one molecule how many are there? 3 atoms. Okay, that I don't require. Okay, next, here what is required is total positive charge. Now in one H2O molecule there are 8 protons in oxygen atom and 2 times of 1 proton, so totally 8 plus 2, 10 protons are there in one H2O molecule. So total number of protons that are present here are, total number of protons is, okay, how many number of molecules are there? That many molecules. 2 times Na is number of molecules times, in each molecule how many protons are there? 10 protons. Okay, so your number of protons is 20 times Avogadro number. Your total positive charge is, okay, your total number of protons 20 Na into charge of each proton is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So that will give you the total charge. Okay, so don't substitute Na, it is 6.023 into 10 power 23, it's just Avogadro number. Okay, so this is your basic idea regarding quantization of charge. Okay, this is your third property. Now coming to fourth property of charge. What is your fourth property of charge means? Your fourth property of charge is quantization of, conservation of charge. Okay, so your fourth property is conservation of charge. Okay, your fourth property is conservation of charge. Now what is its meaning is, you cannot create charge, you can neither create charge nor destroy charge. Okay, you can only transfer from one body to another body. Okay, so what is its meaning? I will tell you. Now let us say there is a body A here, there is one more body B here. Okay, now let us say some charge is removed from this. Now, okay, you can do it by rubbing. For example, if you are producing charging by friction, if you rub this body on this and separate it like this, what happens is, okay, few of the electrons will shift from this body to this body, okay, from which the electrons are being lost, okay, from which the electrons are being lost, that will become a positive charge plus Q. Okay, and which body gains electrons, that will become minus Q. Overall this net charge that is present here is equal to 0. Okay, your net charge is 0 here. Okay, that is your conservation of charge. Okay, this is one example. Not only that, whenever you are writing some nuclear reactions, for example, if you have ZXA like this ZXA is, okay, this will become YZ minus 2 A minus 4 plus 2 times He4, something like this. If this nucleus is emitting an alpha particle. This is your alpha particle. Okay, so nuclear reactions also, here this Z is present, this will indicate number of protons. So here 2 protons are there, here Z minus 2 protons. Once again, total number of positive charge, total positive charge is conserved. So even in nuclear reactions, in every place that you take, definitely conservation of charge will happen. Okay, now coming to the problems part. Okay, what sort of problems will come in this topic, I will tell you. Now I will discuss something important. Okay, we will see later, but in certain questions you will get it, even in capacitors chapter you will get it later. Let us say you have a charge Q1 and it is a shell, its radius is R1. There is one more shell, okay, charge is on outer layer, radius is R2. Okay, charge is not inside, it is on outer shell like this. Let it be positive, negative, anything. I shouldn't have kept the sign, but let us say it is Q1, it is Q2 like this. Now radius of this shell is R1, radius of shell is R2. Let us say there is a switch like this. Okay, there is a switch here. Now initially these are the charges on this. Okay, the question is, after switch is closed, okay, after switch is closed, find final charge on each. Okay, after switch is closed, find final charge on each. That is your question. Okay, now how will you do this? Okay, now to do this problem, okay, you require some other ideas. I will tell you. Now if you have a shell like this, and if its charge is Q and if its radius is R, potential here is KQ by R is the potential of this shell on the surface like this. So at any point you take, this is an equipotential surface. That means everywhere potential is same. Your potential of this point, any point on the surface here is KQ by R. Now this is your first idea number 1. To do this you need to know some basic facts which we will discuss later, but still I will tell you here. Next, idea 2. Positive charge moves from high potential to low potential till potential becomes same. Negative charge also, it will move from, okay, low potential to high potential. Okay, negative charge also moves from low potential to high potential till potential becomes same. Till potential becomes same. Okay, till potential becomes same, charge transfer will keep happening. Now if you look at this figure, if what is the charge transferred is asked, if you calculate the potential, it is KQ1 by R1. What is K? I will tell you later. Okay, next, potential V2 is K times Q2 by R2. Okay, now before solving this question itself, I am telling you, if these potentials are equal, what is the charge transferred means? 0. Final charges, initial charges both will be equal. But let us say here this is not the case. I am assuming it. In the question if he gives you just to mislead, there is no point in doing anything. Directly you don't need to do anything. Direct answer is because the potentials are equal, no charge transfer will happen from here to here. Now after switch is closed, okay, I will write it here. After switch is closed, okay, what happens is charge transfer will happen depending upon whichever body is at higher potential. Let us say Q1 dash is the charge on this and Q2 dash is the charge on this, radius is R2. Okay, now switch can be closed still or it can be opened, no issues, it doesn't matter. Once potential becomes same, charge redistribution happens, whether you have the wire connected or whether this wire is present or not present, it doesn't matter, your answer is not going to change. Okay, so because the redistribution has been done, so once potential becomes same, no further charge transfer will happen. So at this point, what is your common potential means k q1 dash by r1 is equal to k q2 dash by r2. Okay, these two potentials are equal because charge transfer happens till potential becomes same. I have written it very clearly here. Now if you try to solve it, okay, now you need to calculate q1 dash and q2 dash. Now here initially these two are not equal, you have only one equation, k will cancel off, you will get q1 dash is q2 dash times r1 by r2. Okay, now you have got your relation between charges, that's all. Okay, now to calculate q1 dash, okay, we need to apply conservation of charge. Okay, so this is an example of conservation of charge, that is why I am discussing it here. So what is your total charge means, initially it is q1 plus q2, so finally also it is going to become q1 dash plus q2 dash. Okay, now I am erasing this part. Those who want to copy, they can pause the video clip and then they can copy this stuff. Okay, so copy it somewhere to the side. Now I am erasing this because I need space. So now your q1 plus q2, charge before is equal to charge after, so this will become q1 plus q2 is equal to your q1 dash is q2 dash times r1 by r2 plus q2 dash. From here your q2 dash is q1 plus q2 times r2 by r1 plus r2. Okay, your q1 dash is, if you simplify, you will get q1 plus q2 times r1 by r1 plus r2. Okay, right? So this is your first charge and this is your second charge. Okay, now in this chapter, without mentioning the radius, he will just simply give identical spheres, identical shells, something like that he will give. So if you are using this word identical spheres or shells, obviously r1 and r2 will be equal, so that will become r. So your q1 dash and q2 dash will be total charge by 2, q1 plus q2 by 2. Okay, now same logic if you are supposed to use, okay, note above logic is same when spheres are rubbed, touched each other and separated. Okay, when spheres are touched and separated, same logic. Okay, same results will hold. Okay, same results will hold. Okay, when spheres are touching each other and separated, same logic will hold. Okay, so this is one area where problems can be asked. Copy it. If you have any doubts, just let me know. Okay, next. Now before I start, next part is only Coulomb's law. So before I start, let me give some basic problems. Let us say there is a sphere of radius r. On this there is 3 microcoulomb charge. There is one more sphere whose radius is 2r. For this the charge is minus 8 microcoulomb. Question is, find, okay, they are touched each other and separated, okay, touched and separated, find final charges. Touched and separated, find final charge on each. That is your question. Come on, do it. Your Q1 dash is total charge times R1 by R1 plus R2. Your Q2 dash is Q1 plus Q2 times R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay, I hope the relation is correct. Check whether you are getting the same. Chanakya, chudu. Same idena relation?
Q1 ki Q2, Q1 ka R2, Q2 ka R1.
Q1 it is R2. No, I don't think so. Check it.
Q2 R1, Q1 R2.
No. R1 by R2. It is into R2. Q2 dash times పక్క న్యూమరేటర్కి వెళ్తే R2 అవుతుంది. అంతే కదా? Right? So according to that logic it is, don't get confused with the formula. Check once again. So it is 3 minus 8 minus 5 microcoulomb times R by 2R plus R. So it is minus 5 by 3 microcoulomb. And your Q2 dash is, okay, 3 minus 8 minus 5 times R2 is 2R by 2R plus R. So it is minus 10 by 3 microcoulomb. Okay. So now initially what is the total charge means 3 minus 8, it is minus 5. Finally it is how much means minus 5 by 3 minus 10 by 3 minus 15 by 3. Once again it is minus 5 by 3. Okay. So this is your basic idea about introduction of basic introduction related to charge. Okay. Now in the next class we will start doing Coulomb's law. Okay. Now how will you charge a body and all? You just read it from the books. Anyhow, for your board also you will have basic questions. I will not waste my time in doing those things. Okay, you earth the body, you remove it, you disconnect it, that and all. If you study, you can understand. Okay, so hope you have understood it. Next class we will start with Coulomb's law.